Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jhammaster J. For today, I wanted to record another hip hop review. But this was supposed to be recorded on Wednesday, but it's still going to be that day. I'm gonna make sure that is continuously the case. I wanted to do something for Wednesday known as Drake Appreciation Day, and that's where I review all of Drake's projects since since the start of his career, all the way up until his recent project. Today we are going to do Drake's first mixtape, his review, Room for Improvement. This will be the first mixtape review, because I have yet to actually see a review of this mixtape anywhere else. With that being said, let's get it started. Drake, a Canadian rapper, started off on Degrassi, as a lot of people said. Drake claims, he did Degrassi mainly because his mother went out his means to give him a decent life, and Drake was just making some money for her on the side. Who knows? We don't know, the story behind a lot of things. So whether he's lying or not, bottom line is he was an actor off Degrassi. And the ironic part was, as this mixtape was released and being recorded, Drake was still on the show. That's very interesting. The mixtape was actually released in 2006. So really for like a while, Drake has been on Degrassi for up until 2008. At this time, the mixtape was released in the label that was formerly known as All Things Fresh, currently now OVO, even eventually securing a deal with Warner Brothers. But at the time, it was just an independent label. It was promoted with a DJ known as DJ Smalls, who was part of the Southern Smoke series. Famous for a lot of Southern rappers, obviously. But for the most part, if you listen to this mixtape, it was pretty much Drake's inception. We didn't know what he could really do with this track. We didn't know what he could do with this record. And clearly we see that as I listen to this record, although there is some potential there, this is probably my least favorite Drake record. Not a bad mixtape. Just, something that, obviously I wouldn't be necessarily coming back to every time. Compared to his newer projects, this is just something light. The sound, the whole sound of this mixtape actually has more of a piano classical sound, not necessarily jazz, but for a majority of it, you'll hear some pianos, you'll hear some mixes here and there, some scratches with a little bit of boom bap, but for the most part, you'll hear a lot of piano. Even the second track is known as Pianist Hands. After you hear Drake obviously talk through him being promoted by DJ Smalls, you hear the Pianist Hands. Just, I believe there's a gentleman who is French trying to talk about Drake not being perfect, but trying to show his skills. And it starts with Special with a nice piano beat. For the most part, the beats are consistent. Lyrically, Drake is a little underwhelming on this. There are some slick rhymes here and there. Um, you talk about adding math and jackrabbits. There's definitely a little brother-esque flow, or a flow that Drake uses from Fonte. Not saying he stole it or anything like that, but there's also some Joe Budden influences on here too. The commercial sound Drake had, the most commercial artist he had was obviously Lupe Fiasco, who was just blowing up at the time, where he's on the Kick Push remix. Once again, a very long-winded verse. Drake knows how to flow. That's one thing. He can flow, but in terms of lyrics, they just don't necessarily do it for me. Some of the songs here are pretty hit and miss. Like there's AM to PM, which is definitely one of my favorite tracks on there. Come Winter, the second half, I didn't feel the first one. The sample I felt wasn't mixed properly, but that second half was great. That spring side of it, extra special where they did the Stevie Wonder sample, loved it so much. All This Love, I can tell you, Scorpio's Mind, especially with Nicholas F. Nicholas F. actually is featured 3 times on this project. However, this track, Scorpio's Mind, Nicholas F. really goes off on here. You have Try Harder, which is dope. Thrill Is Gone, Make Things Right. With Slaka, The Beat Child. And it's ironic, you hear All This Love considering Drake's beef with another Toronto artist by the name of Voice. The diss songs will be in the description. But for the most part, there are some good songs, but there are some misses on here. There are some big time misses on here. City Is Mine. I'll give Drake credit. What he said was prophecy, but this track I definitely was not feeling. The first half of Come Winter, I was all good about that. About the Game was supposed to be a freestyle, which, if anything, insults my intelligence. But hey, a nice vocal from Trey Songz, right? Stress, I wasn't really feeling that track either. And then there's just some alright tracks. I mean, you have Kid from Kid and Play Call, which is weird. A bunch of mailboxes. Obviously, you used one from Ludacris's album, which is pretty funny. But for now, this project, although very potential and, very decent and listenable, is not really one of Drake's best projects. And you can tell that during this time, if you listen to it, Drake definitely needed some work on his quote-unquote pen game. But it's still a solid project. If you're a Drake fan, give it a listen. Some old school fans actually like this. Like I said, I come back to this once in a while. Sometimes it's a chore to listen to. Other times I'm just like, I'm alright with it. But for the most part, the track, the project ends with Drake playing a piano and messing up and a guy getting mad. I mean, I guess you could say this literally was Drake's room for improvement later on in his career. And more of Drake's growth as an MC, to some people, question mark, but me, I still consider him an MC. This is just, Drake just coming out as an MC and not really, giving his full yet. Over his career, you'll see more growth. And this project, like I said, is really solid, but not definitely my favorite. With that, I give this mixtape 6 out of 10. Sorry, Aubrey, but not a good way to start your impression of me when you're making a project like this. But with that being said, that concludes Drake Appreciation Day. We're not off to a good start here. And there'll be more Drake projects to review. If you guys want, let me know what kind of mixtape you want me to do, and I will cover it. This is Jhammaster J, and as Kid Cudi would say, signing off with a crotch grab. Peace.